Greetings, dear subscribers and casual listeners of my channel. In today's video, I want to talk to you about hidden details that make the plot of Harry Potter even more interesting. So, let's get started. Number 1. The magical number 7. The number 7 in Harry Potter is often considered a reference to biblical stories, but in the context of the films, it carries its own special significance. Let's start with the obvious. Education at Hogwarts lasts for 7 years. A Quidditch team consists of 7 players. And did you notice Harry's jersey number? That's right, it's 7 again, which might be a hint that Harry is the 7th accidental Horcrux of Voldemort. Moving on. In Deathly Hallows, there's the 7 Potters operation. The Weasley family has 7 children, and Hogwarts has 7 floors. When Dumbledore visits the orphanage to see young Tom Riddle, an attentive viewer can spot 7 stones on the windowsill behind Tom, which undoubtedly hints at Voldemort's 7 Horcruxes. Another clue to Tom's future dark plans is the photograph of the cave where he would later hide Slytherin's locket, pinned nearby. Tom Riddle in the orphanage. 7 stones on the windowsill. To the right, a photograph of the cave where the Horcrux would be hidden. And that's not all. Ginny is the first girl born in 7 generations. In Harry's first year at Hogwarts, Gryffindor won the House Cup for the first time in 7 years. Dobby has 7 socks. Harry was born in the 7th month of the year. The Marauder's map reveals 7 hidden exits from the castle, and the Gryffindor common room is on the 7th floor. That's all from me for now, but maybe you've also noticed something in the books? Number 2. The Last Supper theme in Harry Potter. In Prisoner of Azkaban, during the Christmas dinner, Trelawney refuses to join because the first of the 13 at the table to rise will die. At first glance, there were indeed 12 people at the table. But at the time, no one knew that Peter Pettigrew, disguised as a rat, was the 13th. So, in a way, Trelawney's prophecy came true because the first to rise was Dumbledore, who would die soon after. Attentive fans have also noticed other examples of her prophecies coming true. In Order of the Phoenix, there's a scene where 13 people dine at one table, and the first to leave is Sirius Black, who dies at the end of the book. At the beginning of Deathly Hallows, after the 7 Potters operation, 13 people return, and the first to rise and go to find Alastor Moody's body was Remus Lupin, who would be the first to die in the Battle of Hogwarts. Lastly, some believe that Trelawney's prophecy is an allusion to the Last Supper, during which Jesus dines with his 12 disciples for the last time and predicts the betrayal of one of them. Number 3. Dumbledore's negligence. We all remember how the story of the boy who lived begins. Hagrid brings 1-year-old Harry to Privet Drive, where Dumbledore and McGonagall are waiting to leave him with the Dursleys. Now, let's pay attention to an interesting detail. This happens at midnight, right after the events in Godric's Hollow on October 31st, and it seems that neither Dumbledore nor McGonagall is bothered by the fact that a 1-year-old child will be lying on a doorstep all night, and mind you, late October, early November in England isn't exactly warm. Also, don't forget that at night, dogs or wild animals like foxes might wander around in search of food. You might argue that Dumbledore cast protective and warming spells on Harry, but there's another important issue. The Death Eaters, Voldemort's loyal followers, would have started searching for their master and the reason for his disappearance. While some less committed followers may have fled, the most loyal ones surely hoped Voldemort was still alive and nearby. It's known that Bellatrix Lestrange, Barty Crouch Jr. and other Death Eaters tortured the Longbottoms trying to find Voldemort. So it's logical they would have searched for Harry as well, starting with the most obvious places like Petunia's house on Privet Drive. Clearly, this house would have been their first target, which aligns with the scene in Deathly Hallows, when the Dursleys leave in a hurry and Harry says, "You need to leave because they will stop at nothing to get what they want." Number 4. Voldemort becoming the defense against the dark arts teacher. For a long time, many thought that Dumbledore didn't allow Snape to teach defense against the dark arts because he doubted Snape had fully given up experimenting with dark magic and feared he might abuse his position. However, the real reason lies elsewhere. Dumbledore knew that Voldemort had cursed the position after being denied it, ensuring that no one could hold it for more than a year. But if you noticed, in a way, Voldemort's wish was fulfilled. In Philosopher's Stone, the Dada teacher was Quirrell, whose body and soul belonged to the Dark Lord. In Goblet of Fire, the position was held by his loyal follower, Barty Crouch Jr. In Half-Blood Prince, Snape finally got the job, whom Voldemort considered an ally, and in Deathly Hallows, the post was held by the Death Eater, Carrow. Number 5. Trelawney isn't such a bad seer after all. The fact that a part of Voldemort's soul lived inside Harry explains many things, including Trelawney's line in Prisoner of Azkaban, when she tells Harry, "I think it is safe to say, my dear, that you were born in midwinter." At the time, both Harry and we dismissed her prophetic abilities, but later we realized she was right. She somehow sensed Voldemort inside Harry, as the Dark Lord was indeed born in midwinter on December 31st. Number 6. Ron's prediction. And speaking of prophecies, in one episode of Chamber of Secrets, when the trio is pondering what Tom Riddle received his special services to the school award for, Ron jokingly suggests it was for killing Moaning Myrtle. As it turns out, he was right, since she died because of the basilisk released by Tom Riddle from the Chamber of Secrets. Number 7. Hogwarts' flawed education system. Another interesting observation: does wizarding education really exclude subjects like language, literature, physics, and mathematics? It seems that, to some extent, Muggle-born wizards are luckier than purebloods, since they had the opportunity to study these subjects until they were 11. While it's important to know how to stop a deadly poison or expand a bag's capacity, that doesn't eliminate the need to know your country's history or basic literacy. Although, maybe we don't know all the nuances of the Hogwarts education system. Perhaps learning about the laws of physics isn't particularly relevant when magic itself defies those very laws, and chemistry is effectively replaced by potions. Number 8. The Sorting Hat's strange decisions. Have you ever wondered why Pettigrew ended up in Gryffindor instead of Slytherin? Or why Hermione, instead of Ravenclaw, was placed in Gryffindor? And what about Neville? Would Hufflepuff or Gryffindor suit him better? Many argue that Rowling deliberately placed all the main heroes in Gryffindor and all the villains in Slytherin. However, in an interview she shared, "Usually the Sorting Hat takes no more than 5 minutes to decide, but with Hermione, Neville and Harry, the process took much longer." It's worth noting that when McGonagall and Pettigrew were sorted, the hat also took longer. It was choosing between Ravenclaw and Gryffindor for McGonagall and between Slytherin and Gryffindor for Pettigrew. Peter had both Gryffindor traits, bravery, and Slytherin traits, ambition. By placing him in Gryffindor, the hat gave him a chance to become a better version of himself, though, as we know, he didn't take that chance. Number 9. Extra Cho Chang. If you closely watch the final part of Deathly Hallows, you'll notice that Cho Chang appears multiple times among the Hogwarts defenders, dressed in her school uniform and Ravenclaw tie. However, this doesn't align with the storyline, since Cho is a year older than Harry and should have already graduated by that time. Number 10. How the Weasley twins pranked Voldemort. In Philosopher's Stone, there's a scene where Fred and George get punished for throwing snowballs at the back of Professor Quirrell's turban. As it turns out, the twins were the first and last wizards in history to have the chance to harmlessly mess with Voldemort. Besides these plot details, the films are full of little things you might miss if you're not paying close attention. These Easter eggs and hidden details make watching the films even more exciting. Now, let's dive into those intriguing details you might have missed while watching the Harry Potter films. Detail number 1. Spells are for the weak. Harry Potter and magic are inseparable. But interestingly, Harry himself uses spells less often than you might think. His favorite spell, Expelliarmus, became a symbol, but in The Philosopher's Stone, he doesn't cast any spells at all. Yes, it's a film about a wizard, but this wizard hardly ever uses magic. Remember the scene at the zoo? Harry makes the glass disappear, but it happens accidentally. He doesn't even know that it's his magic. It's one of those scenes where the magic just bursts out, uncontrolled. No spells, just pure energy. Everything is still ahead, lessons at Hogwarts and learning about magic. What's interesting is that even in the most dangerous situations, Harry avoids using magic. He goes through the challenges leading to the Philosopher's Stone without using any spells. Even in the final battle with Professor Quirrell, he doesn't rely on his wand. Harry wins thanks to his mother's love, not his magical powers. In his first conscious attempt to use magic, Harry tries to cast Wingardium Leviosa in Flitwick's class. But even then, nothing works. The feather stays on the desk, motionless. Meanwhile, Hermione, of course, succeeds with the spell. Harry is still learning, but this funny and touching moment shows how far he is from mastering magic at this stage. Everything changes in the second film, The Chamber of Secrets. By then, Harry knows a few spells. In the final battle with Tom Riddle, he uses Expelliarmus for the first time, and this spell remains with him throughout the saga. Expelliarmus might seem weak compared to other spells, but for Harry, it holds special significance. It's his choice to disarm rather than kill. "I don't want to kill," is his stance, and it's reflected in his actions. With each film, Harry becomes more confident in his magical abilities. In The Deathly Hallows, when he tries to destroy the locket, he uses several spells at once. This is rare for him, but Expelliarmus still remains his main tool. He experiments and looks for new ways to fight, but continues to avoid violence. Detail number 2. What happened to Gilderoy Lockhart? Gilderoy Lockhart is a bright and comical character in the Chamber of Secrets. He charmed everyone with his books and false adventures, but beneath his smile, he was a true fraud. Everything was revealed when Harry and Ron took him to the Chamber of Secrets. Lockhart tried to erase their memories, but the spell backfired. The result? Total amnesia. Fawkes carried him out of the chamber, along with Harry, Ron, and Ginny. And that's where Lockhart's story seems to end in the film. We don't know what happened to him next. But that's not the end. For those who stayed until the end of the credits, there's a small scene. In the bookstore, Flourish and Blots. His new book, Who Am I?, is displayed. On the cover is Lockhart himself, but now in a straitjacket. This is a scene many might have missed. Lockhart regained some of his skills. He's writing books again, though he doesn't remember who he is. His hair no longer shines, and his face looks tired. He's no longer a hero. He's a man who's lost himself. This short scene adds depth to his character. We see that his life didn't end in the Chamber of Secrets, but it became much sadder. The straitjacket on Lockhart is a clear hint of his stay at St. Mungo's Hospital. His once shiny hair is gone, and his bright clothes have been replaced with a white uniform. Ironically, even without his memory, Lockhart still craves fame. His new book is a kind of symbol of his past life, but with a tragic twist. This scene is hidden after the credits, and many might have missed it. But it's important for the conclusion of his story. Lockhart didn't just disappear from the Harry Potter world. His fate remains sad but ongoing. In his books, he no longer writes about great feats. Now his main question is, who am I? Detail number 3. a hint for the future. The Marauder's Map is a true artifact for any wizard. It shows not only the secret passages of Hogwarts, but also the movements of everyone in the castle. It's not just a map, it reveals secrets that are invisible to the naked eye. In Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry notices the name Peter Pettigrew on the map. This is a shock. Pettigrew was thought to be dead, but there he is, alive, moving around the school. This moment turns everything upside down. Pettigrew had been hiding all these years as Scabbers, Ron's rat. The map exposed his secret. What started as a simple school prank became a powerful tool for uncovering the past. It's one of those moments where the film changes the entire perception of the plot. But there's another interesting detail. On the map, you can spot the name Newt Scamander, the hero of Fantastic Beasts. Why is he there? After all, his story takes place decades before the events of Harry Potter. This little Easter egg immediately caught the attention of fans. Why did Newt return to Hogwarts in 1993? There are many questions. Some think Newt might have been researching magical creatures at Hogwarts. Others believe he was there on personal business. This small detail is left unexplained, but its appearance opens up space for speculation. Perhaps Newt was part of some secret mission we don't know about. Fans love such mysteries. Newt's appearance on the map became a real topic of discussion. What was he doing at Hogwarts? Why did he come? There are no answers, but it adds even more intrigue to his character. The connection between wizarding generations seems even stronger. Detail number 4. Protection from Muggles. The wizarding world in the Harry Potter films has always been hidden from the eyes of Muggles. This detail makes it so fascinating and believable. Wizards live among ordinary people, but their world is securely protected. For example, in The Philosopher's Stone, Hagrid takes Harry to Diagon Alley, and Muggles pass by without noticing the magical shops. To them, this world simply doesn't exist. The Leaky Cauldron is a prime example. When Harry and Hagrid approach it, Muggles can't see the pub. The sign appears only to wizards. This moment highlights how well the magical world is hidden. People could walk past their whole lives and never realize that just around the corner, magic begins. It's a small but powerful detail that immerses us in the magic. Hidden locations like the Ministry of Magic or 12 Grimmauld Place enhance this sense of mystery. For instance, the Ministry is located right in London. Ordinary people don't even suspect it exists. This contrast between the two worlds creates the magic of reality, making the Harry Potter universe even more captivating. These details are especially important in the earlier films, where everything feels new and wondrous. Every little thing, from hidden signs to magical portals, makes us believe in the reality of this world. Diagon Alley is the center of magical life, hidden from Muggles, and Harry sees for the first time how two worlds are divided, but coexist side by side. When Harry first enters Diagon Alley, he feels like he's entered a completely different world. A Muggle turned wizard, he is amazed as hidden pathways and shops reveal the magical reality. This moment is important not only for Harry, but also for the audience. We immerse ourselves in the magic with him. These hidden places give the films a sense of mystery. We feel on the edge of two worlds, which heightens the immersion in the story. The magical world is literally next door but hidden from sight. The scene with the Leaky Cauldron emphasizes this divide between Muggles and wizards, showing how easy it is to miss an entire universe if you don't know where to look. The Ministry of Magic is another example. Ordinary people have no idea that beneath their feet, important events of the wizarding world are unfolding. Magic and technology coexist, but they never intersect. This contrast adds depth and mystery to the story. Detail number 5. The defense against the dark arts teacher. Remus Lupin is undoubtedly the best defense against the dark arts teacher. He was not only a teacher, but also a mentor who understood his students. Lupin didn't just explain spells, he helped them deal with their fears. Remember how he taught Harry to defeat the boggart? It was more than a magic lesson. It was a lesson in confidence. Lupin always believed in Harry and the other students, giving them something no one else could. Other defense against the dark arts teachers were less successful. Lockhart lacked knowledge, Moody was too harsh, and Snape was cold and vengeful. Lupin stood out for his kindness and willingness to help. He believed that a true teacher should not only pass on knowledge, but also support their students. That's why Harry valued him so much. Lupin became a role model for him. Harry carried this experience into the Order of the Phoenix, when he organized Dumbledore's army. He taught his friends what he had learned from Lupin: courage, self-belief, and the willingness to protect others. Even though Harry didn't see himself as a teacher, he led the sessions with confidence. It was a reflection of Lupin's methods, teaching through support and understanding. Harry followed his example, even without realizing it. Interestingly, Harry imitated Lupin not only in behavior, but also in clothing. During Dumbledore's army meetings, he wore a sweater similar to the one Lupin wore in Prisoner of Azkaban. It's a small but significant detail. Harry didn't just teach like Lupin, he looked like him. The sweater symbolized their connection. Harry felt responsible for his friends just as Lupin had for him. His lessons weren't just about magic, but also about courage, loyalty, and support. This was the same principle Lupin had instilled: protect not only yourself, but also those around you. Harry inherited this philosophy. Lupin taught Harry not just to defend against dark forces, but to deal with his own fears. Harry carried this into his lessons. He showed the students that fear is normal, but it can be overcome. This was a key idea that Lupin had instilled, and Harry tried to pass it on to his friends. Like Lupin, Harry never placed himself above his students. He was alongside them, learning with them. This made him a true teacher. Lupin also taught through his mistakes and weaknesses, and Harry followed this example. Both of them were united by their humanity and willingness to share their experiences. Thank you for watching all the way through. I hope this means you found it interesting, and if so, don't forget to like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel.